into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
What a ball from Ricky Peach.
News across the galaxy. Keep on nagging, guys. Your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Your six-time MLS Cup champions.
How many more times do we have to play that video?
I don't know.
At this point, it's like a joke, dude.
It is, but it was a beautiful moment. Not to take anything away from it, but anyway,
Yeah.
welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I am your host, Bryant Lowas, and tonight joining me, as usual, my co-host Edgar Zuniga. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm all right, man. I'm enjoying the change in the weather. I love fall. I love winter. But I think before we really get into that nice fall weather, we're probably gonna get hit with 102 degrees on Friday.
Oh no!
You know, it is a little seasonal lag. But it'll be nice to get into some holidays, especially Halloween. I love Halloween.
Yeah.
Get into some spooky season. We've had a lot of spooky season with the Galaxy this year. I want to have some fun spooky season though.
The whole season was spooky.
It's been very spooky.
Anyway, how's your weekend gone, sir?
It's been fun. Spending a lot of time with my son. Just doing a lot of fun little things around the house, playing with him, and just relaxing. Usually, when you have kids, when people say, "Hey, have a great relaxing weekend," it's like, well, I got a kid at home, but yeah, he's getting to the age where it's a lot of fun to do like little things with him, crafts, and just play around and do fun things. Tonight we watched Star Wars for the second time, and he's like understanding more of it. So things like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, as for me, you might not notice this, but I just kind of woke up from a nap.
You
So
got
which
that
which is
glow,
great.
man.
Yeah, I have that still sleepy face. But yeah, I just woke up from a nap. Actually went to go play earlier, which was very productive because, exercise is very essential to your body. Aside from that, great weekend. I wasn't stressing too much about the happenings with the LA Galaxy because we shouldn't stress about it. But on a lighter note, let's get into some positive stuff with the LA Galaxy.
Like what?
When Joseph Paintsil gets called up to the Ghanaian national team for these next
Yay.
qualifiers, he is also named Player of the Month of September for the LA Galaxy, which in a season where the LA Galaxy has been really, really bad, this is a bright spot for Sir Joseph Paintsil, and to get anybody getting called up to the national team, it's a privilege and it's a blessing, right? It shows the hard work you've been putting on with your club team, and congratulations to him.
I remember a time when a lot of Galaxy players were getting called up to the national team. Those days have come and gone.
Yeah, yeah, it's big time, huh? And who who was the other players that you could recall from the last championship teams that were getting called up?
Oh well, about 2014. Didn't we have Omar still at the time? I can't remember.
But Omar did get called up at one moment to the national
Yeah,
team. Of course, Landon Donovan,
yeah, it was
Captain American
2014.
himself.
Oh my God, it was there because I think Omar was still with the national team, and then it was around that time when the national team started falling apart.
Oh yeah, the classic. Oh, the dog's doing crazy
Yeah,
outside.
Landon Donovan was getting called up until Klinsman took over.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. No, it was just like it was funny because they were saying I think I heard it sometime this season that LA Galaxy has always had at least one player that's called up to the national team or participate in World Cup qualifiers, and it's been a long time since that happened. At least with with the U.S. national team.
Hmm.
Of course, we have, like I said, Joseph Paintsil going out to play with Ghana. But as far as the rest of the team, No, not so much.
Well, now we go back to the pressing news. Marco Royce has been officially ruled out for the remainder of the season. Haven't really read up on his injury and how severe it is, but I think it was the best case scenario for his health's sake, and kind of to give other players some type of minutes to kind of develop. What do you think about that?
Yeah, from what I heard, and I'm the one who like mentioned it. I heard that it was like a hamstring injury.
Hmm.
Because at first you kept hearing a lower body, injury. Sounds like hockey. And hockey, they don't want to divulge what exactly the injury is because, hockey players will target that part of your body. But apparently it's a hamstring injury, and we've said so many times about how hamstring injuries are, they're a very devious thing, right? Just when you feel that you're well enough to go out and go for a little jog, as soon as you try to take off running, all of a sudden you feel like a bite in the back of your leg. And you're like, and then you can't move anymore, and back to the drawing board. So there's nothing left to play for. Campeones Cup came and went. League's Cup is, way in the mirror. I mean, in the rear view mirror, and there's nothing left to play for except for the wooden spoon. Yeah, hell yeah, let's go. And so I think it makes sense to shelve him, especially because he's so injury prone anyway. The fact that we got so much out of him this season, I was mildly surprised that he played as much as he did because I look at him and I don't think he's very durable. He just doesn't strike me as that kind of a player. But credit to him, he did play a good chunk of the season. But now, old age caught up to him and injuries and the long MLS season and having to travel across 4 time zones. I'm sure all that stuff is, wearing on him. So makes sense. Now, there's there's a lot of criticism from people saying, having somebody that fragile on the team is a detriment.
Mm,
But then again, you look back at his numbers, and he did help. He did contribute, even if he wasn't leading the team. A lot of statistics. Um, he did contribute a lot, and was a presence in midfield that was sorely lacking. Ricky Puig, and obviously, like we said before he came on, they missed Mark Delgado.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the following season. He's under contract until December 31st of 2026. None of that obviously is carved in stone, so we'll see what happens from here until then. But yeah, at least for 2025, he is done. Just like this Galaxy team, you can put a fork in it. This
Yeah.
turkey is cooked, man.
Overcooked, if anything. I do want to give.
Oh my
I
god.
do. I do want to give a stat line right now that you mentioned Marco Royce and his importance to the team. Um, he's created the most big chances for the LA Galaxy this season with 11. It's not saying much, but it goes to show that even at an old, fragile age, in a team that where they need him, he's been able to create.
The way we're describing him, it sounds like he's like peanut brittle or something.
It's not. It's because those leg injuries they've been plaguing him, and as you get older, I mean, you don't heal as fast as you would if you were in your 20s. So I mean, he's also been a bright spot for the season, but we can get to that bright spot and low whatever towards the end of the season. But let's get into something that he mentioned earlier: Campeones Cup, a match,
Oh man.
a cup that not many people took serious until match day. Me being one of those people. And let me take you guys through the lineup for this match. Um, have in mind that Toluca is coming into this match as the best team in Mexico, and the LA Galaxy coming into this match as the worst team in MLS. So keep that in mind. And the percentages of win probability favor Toluca with 45% to 34% of the LA Galaxy. And the lineup goes as follows. At goal, Mikovic, your two center backs, Emilio Garces and Maya Yoshida. Out left, Julian Alde. Out right, Mickey Yamane. Your trio in the midfield, Elijah Winder, Edwin Cerrillo, Diego Fagundes. Your top three, Gabriel Peck, Harbor Miller, and Joseph Paintsill. Edgar, you saw some of these highlights. I know you weren't at the match.
Yeah.
Before coming into this match, did you think this game was going to be this close?
I had I want to say no, but at the same time I saw the how LA Galaxy did against Liga MX teams in Leagues Cup, and that gave me a shred of hope that LA Galaxy might be able to put up a good fight because for some reason, Liga MX teams had difficulty containing Joseph Paintsill and Gabriel Pack. And we saw that they don't put as much emphasis on the wingers as MLS does. So I figured, okay, as long as they don't try to press LA Galaxy, I think Galaxy has a legitimate chance at, uh, doing well against them. I didn't think Galaxy was going to play as well as they did until obviously at the end, they collapsed like they have the entire season. But yeah, I mean, all feelings aside, on paper, it looks like a worthy performance, I guess you could say. Like they put up a good fight despite the records, right? Like you said, best team in Liga MX against the absolute worst team in MLS, and it was a lot closer than you would imagine. And I'm sure some people in Liga MX, had they raised a few eyebrows, like, "Whoa, these guys aren't so bad." But in the end, Toluca proved to be the better team because they are. Period.
Yeah, 100%. I got there maybe an hour before kickoff. Wasn't really trying to get there to tailgate or anything like that. One, it was a midweek game, so runs kind of long. And then two, like I mentioned earlier, it wasn't a match that I was really looking forward to and excited about or took this cup serious. I get there and fellow G's fans were on the same boat, not expecting much, but watching the LA Galaxy try to win anything is still exciting for everybody. Met up with Eddie, and we met up with an old friend, our good friend David Gadino Art, if you guys want to follow his art. And yeah, I think for the most part, us three were really expecting much from the LA Galaxy, especially not this type of performance. I think the LA Galaxy in this match had an amazing game, very admirable, and seeing how the LA Galaxy is the worst team in MLS and perhaps the worst LA Galaxy team in history. Hats off to them. Of course, the excitement wasn't. It didn't last long because, as usual, and something that we've been seeing from this LA Galaxy, the defense let us down in that match once again. once again, and at this point, I mean, just put a fork in it, like you mentioned earlier. I will say this: in that first half, there was a lot of back and forth. Let me give you some of the stats from this match. The overall stats for this match: 40% possession by the LA Galaxy, 60 by Toluca. 9 shots total for the LA Galaxy to 18 of Toluca. Big chances created. The LA Galaxy had 3. Toluca had 1. Pass accuracy, 83% for us, 87 for Toluca. And corners, 11 for Toluca and 1 for the LA Galaxy. In that first half, though, it was a little bit closer when it comes to shots and shots created. And it was a good game from the get-go. I know the LA Galaxy got a penalty call at the 36th minute. Fagundes stepped up and put it away. And to be honest, I didn't even think Diego Fagundes was going to make that goal.
No.
We, like I mentioned earlier, Eddie, David, and myself were hanging out, and we did this thing where we recorded us facing away from the penalty and recording if somebody's gonna, if they were gonna score the thing. It's a cool video because they ended up scoring the goal. And dude, I didn't think there was that many Galaxy fans in the stadium, but the roar in that stadium when that first goal went in, it felt nice. It felt like the LA Galaxy was actually there to compete. So it wasn't that bad of a first half. second half, of course, they go up. Um, they actually get a goal called back that was called offside. And after that is when the LA Galaxy go up 2-1. And I thought from there, the LA Galaxy should have just shut down and parked the bus, right?
Ah.
Like I mentioned again, this team at the depth ended up losing this match. It's something that has plagued them not just this season, but maybe the last 5 seasons, where set pieces, defensive miscues, heartbreaking. And to be honest, even though I didn't expect much, but it's still, like, we had this game. One of those moments where the other guys could have gone away with this match and kind of saved the season by winning this meaningless cup. Is that accurate to say?
Well, yeah, but I think there are some other variables to take into account because if you look at the game on the surface, you're a Galaxy fan. Uh, the other time that they lost it to death after being in the lead was earlier this season against Philadelphia. And obviously, Philadelphia supporter shields winners. Congratulations to them.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Infantino is heading over there right now to present them with the trophy himself, and invite them to the next Club World Cup, which will happen, I guess, in 4 years, right? But
Yeah.
obviously, Anyway, I'm sidetracked. But what I'm trying to say is, we saw LA Galaxy lose to 2 quality teams at that where they were in the lead. They should have won, and obviously they coughed up wins they coughed up losses at the very end. Um, but I think, um, I'm sorry, I kind of lost my track right here. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that um, the the defense is it's not just the defense though. It's like they give the one thing that bothers me the most about this Galaxy team, and I've mentioned it before, is that there's this gap between the defense and the midfield. Which, if you have a good double pivot or some solid CDMs, they can come back and assist. You won't have that issue, but there's like a disconnect there, and so what happens is that teams constantly you'll see this every freaking game. Teams get so much space and time that the players are sometimes shocked that they have all the space and they can look up and actually, instead of trying to make a pass, they're like, "Oh, you giving me space? Oh, I'm gonna take my shot." And we saw it happen against Toluca. We saw it happen against Dallas. We saw
Yep.
it happen in the previous game before that. And so that's one thing that really bothers me, and it's something came to my attention midway through the season, and then I started pointing it out, and it happened again in this game. So that's one thing. Another thing that I was listening to the game, by the way, on the radio. I was listening to Joe Totino, and he mentioned that the officiating was very bad. It was I think it was a Mexican ref,
Salvadoran
uh,
ref, actually.
Salvadoran ref. Okay, well, my bad. But they were saying how, like, I think he might be a Liga MX referee. I didn't do the ref report. Usually I do these, right? But I didn't do it, so I had no idea who the ref was going to be. I actually tried looking it up, and I couldn't figure out who it was. But the point that I'm trying to make is that obviously he was not up to the task of a game like this because both teams really wanted it. Toluca really wanted to come in and prove that that they're the best, and not just in Liga MX but across the region. LA Galaxy it was trying to get a shred of something out of this horrible nightmare season. So both teams were really going at it, and there were times in this game where the game kind of got away from from the referee, and then toward the end there, obviously, I mean, we had the 2 red cards, right, for Mohamed and his hijo, and so toward the end of the game there, things started getting kind of chippy, and then of course, um, Joe Totino, at least he mentioned that he felt that the foul call on Garces was a makeup call, and that it was not worthy of a set piece like that. That it should not have been called like that. I wasn't watching it. Like I said, I was listening to the game on the radio, and so I was like, really, if that's the case, that sucks because obviously that particular call determined the final outcome of the match.
Yeah.
But then again, this LA Galaxy team, if they can't defend a lead like that, I think it was like what 4 minutes to go or something in the match. They
Three
were up
minutes. Yep. 3
three
minutes.
minutes and they coughed it up. Oh my god, the last time I mentioned the Philly game, but I remember the last time they were like in a final and they did something like that was again it was against DC United and MLS Cup '96. And I know people are like, "Oh my God, Edgar, that was so long ago." It was almost 30 years ago, right? But that I mean, and they've won so many championships since then, but that still bothers me to this day,
Yeah.
right? I think about how they were up 2-0 and they coughed up that game to DC, and I'm like, damn it. And so I'm watching this and it brought up some old memories. And I'm like, no, how many times are they gonna keep doing the same thing? And oh, it's maddening.
Yeah,
Ah, my God, it's so frustrating.
it. I mean, they did try to show up for this match. I think that's very important. Uh,
Yeah.
the match before, Vanny wasn't in the coaching's box, so to say, and in this match it was. I've watched the replay back, and you can tell in the coach's face, you could tell in the player's face as soon as they scored that first one that this meant something to the team. One, you're playing at home and you don't want to disappoint your fans, and two, uh, as a unit who's had a horrendous 2025 MLS season, this could have been an opportunity for them to try to get back on track and maybe, you know, gain some momentum with this going to the offseason where they could, train and be like, hey, we win something at least. But I think it is what it is. And to be honest, I wasn't even that mad at the end of the match. I enjoyed the game. It was very competitive for a team that's in last place going up against a team who's the best in their country and in their league. But, you know,
We do have a super chat though to we can cap this.
okay, cool. Yeah,
Thank you so much, man.
the LA Galaxy lose to Toluca in the Campeones Cup, and the dogs are going crazy because
They're upset, man.
they're upset. They lose 3-2 in a very competitive game. The fans were great from both sides. I didn't see any type of extracurricular activity outside. As I walked out, I congratulated a lot of Toluca fans because I enjoyed the match, to be honest. It was hard fought, back and forth. We saw goals. What else can you ask for? Let me give you one stat of this match as well. I had seen this earlier. Let me check real quick. I think I lost it. No, I don't. I
Well,
didn't.
let's address the super chat while you look for that. By the
Okay,
way,
cool. Yeah. Thank you, Adam, for the super chat. Let me get some Ricky Pooj healing music for that.
I need some of that for my knee too, man.
Yes. What is the most needed in the offseason? New center backs or a new goalkeeper? And was Mikovic responsible for any of the three goals versus Toluca? Or could he have done better? I still don't trust him for MLS. What you got for us, Edgar?
Well, I think we got something with Rindo. I think that's how you pronounce his name, by the way. With Rindo. Rindo seems like a nice little revelation. It's like it's like you go to your closet, you get a jacket, and then you stick your hand in the pocket. You're like, $5, baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, I got $5 in my pocket, and so that's like Rindo, right? It's like, hey, where did this guy come from? Well, there he is. And especially in a season where we've seen Mayoshita fade so much,
Yeah.
especially as the season has progressed. We see Zanka is definitely not it, but Garces seems to have matured some this season. I want to say I mean, he still has his issues with his temperament, but I feel like he's matured tremendously throughout the season. So we can look to the future and say Rindo and Garces are a good base to go from, right? I mean, are we going to see Zabaleta at center back next season? Probably not. Will he still
Hopefully
have a
not.
job? Probably. But I think center
Locker room
back.
guy.
Yeah. Oh God. I think center back. Center back. I think we're okay at center back. Just need a little bit more depth in there. Maybe bring in somebody a little bit more solid. I think. But as far as goalkeepers are concerned, I keep telling people. I mean, we look at Mitrovic and we're like, oh, he made some good saves. He's made some good stops. He's not a top tier goalkeeper. Maybe he's heading there. But when you compare him to like the Berkeys or like who's a guy from Austin? I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. These guys, Oh, or like Kalina and
Kalina.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Um, Stuber, there we go, Stuber. Those are top tier goalkeepers, and you watch them, and they're amazing to watch.
Yeah.
They're really fun to watch. Mitrovic, like Adam says, it's not that he's bad. It's just like you still don't have a sense of like overwhelming security. Like the last time I said, the last time we had a good goalkeeper that I felt confident in was Jaime Penedo. That's been a long time now. It's like been more than a decade. So yeah, LA Galaxy could invest in a more established goalkeeper, and maybe that'll push Mitrovic to try to up his game some more, and maybe they could use him as a bargaining chip. If the need comes, but I still think this LA Galaxy could focus on getting a new goalkeeper. So that's my answer.
Um,
Now, was he to blame? Obviously not. Some of those goals, that like I said, that there's that those gaps between the defense and the midfield. They let their team create so much, and there's so many times that the defense could clean up some of the mistakes that they make. So of course, it's a lot of things that go into this. Um,
I
that's
like
my answer.
I
Go
like to
ahead, Brian.
say that I think I'm on the opposite side of you when it comes to Mikovic. I think he could be our number one keeper next season, and I think I'm comfortable. A lot of this season's mishaps was because of the defense. I mean, if the defense is letting you down and you're getting shot at 10 times a match, and you have a bad defense, I mean, most of those are going to go in. So it's not always your fault. In this match against Toluca, he had an amazing save that he took from a free kick that was going to the top bins. One-handed that out. So he has the reflexes and he has the skill set to be the number one goalkeeper in the LA Galaxy. Is he going to be the best in the league? Yet to be seen, but I see a lot of positives with Mikovic where I could trust him next season to be behind the three posts for the LA Galaxy. And here we have another super chat from Adam.
There you go.
Thank you, Adam.
Corn. I like that. Corn the Galaxy.
Last week I heard on Corner of the Galaxy, and Josh made some good points about Mikovic not coming off his line and some other things.
Yes, I can address that too because I play goalkeeper for a bit, and one of the things you have to be as a goalkeeper is you have to talk a lot, and sometimes it means talking to your own gloves or to the post because goalkeepers are weird like that, and I would do that, right? I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Like you put those gloves on, you get weird, but one of the things that I'm trying to say is that you talk to the defense. Sometimes you direct the traffic on the field. You tell your players because you see things that they don't see, especially when the the attack is coming towards you, and maybe you see gaps in the defense, heading back the other way, and so you tell your team, hey, push up that way, or do this, or do that, or hey, center backs come in, stand over here, please focus on this guy. These are things that you got to talk. You got to be very talkative, and you got to communicate very well with your teammates. And one of the things that we keep hearing is that, and Maya Yoshida joked about it, that ever since Deku left the team, right? We're talking about Dejan Jovlic, right? That Mitrovic doesn't really talk that much. He's kind of quiet, kind of reserved. And it's like, no, as a goalkeeper, you gotta talk, man. Even if you drive your teammates crazy, at least they understand what's going on. You got to be able to talk, and maybe that is why sometimes he's hesitant to come off the line because there's that lack of communication with your defense. And these are all like I said, these are all small things that can be fixed. But if it's like a cultural thing, or if it's like a language thing, that's a whole different scenario. But as a goalkeeper, even if you don't speak the same language, you could use body language to point at things and wave and do things like that to get your point across. And these are things that you have to do better. I mean, especially at this level, right? We're talking, yeah, it's not the Premier League; it's still Major League Soccer. It's a top level,
Still
you know.
competitive.
Yeah, it's a competitive league, right? And so you have to be very talkative. You have to be more communicative with your teammates, and that's something I wish he would do because you look at some of the best goalkeepers Galaxy have had in the past: Hartman, Campos. We're talking about Penedo. These are all guys that would yell at their teammates and let them know what's going on. They don't know what's on their mind. So even Joe Cannon, who came through during a dark time with this team, these guys they let you know what was on their mind.
No love for Donovan Ricketts. Or Josh
Yeah,
Sanders?
he was good too. No, him and Saunders. But the thing about Rick is he was always injured, and
Yeah.
Saunders was all right. He's all right.
On the love for David Bingham? Come on, man.
Oh no, that dude can't hold a job, man.
All right. Well, like I mentioned earlier, Toluca ends up winning the Campeones Cup. Congratulations to Toluca. You beat the worst team in MLS, and you struggled to. No, I'm just playing. Do you have it?
They did.
They did. Do you want to do some awards for this match, or should we move on to the next one? I'm gonna leave this one up to you.
Nah, just move on, dude. Let's close the door on this and move on.
um, I actually kind of want to give love to the wingbacks in this match versus Toluca. Julian Alve and Mickey Yamane. I thought they were pretty stellar in this match against Toluca. And the fans. I didn't think there were going to be that many Galaxy fans, to be honest. It was a lot of red in the stadium, but when the LA Galaxy scored those 2 goals, I felt the crowd. You could feel it, like it meant something to them as well. So shout out to everybody. All right. Well, on to more negativity, my good friend. The LA Galaxy traveled to Dallas on Friday, I want to say, to take on FC Dallas, a homecoming of sorts for Edwin Cedillo. And by the way, happy birthday, young man. He gets to go back home and, visit his old stomping grounds. For this match, the LA Galaxy lined up as followed. Of course. Oh, no, actually, not of course. This time at goal, JT Marcin. Damn it. Marsakowski.
Mike Wachowski.
Mike Wazowski. JT Markinowski starts at goal. Your 2 center backs, Zonka. Yes, Zonka started in this match. Alongside, you said, how do you mention his name now? Rindo? Rindo, outright. Mauricio Cuevas, out left. John The Rock Nelson. Your trio in the midfield, Edwin Cedillo, Elijah Winder, Diego Fagundes. The 3 in the top, Joseph Paintsville, Harper Miller, and a welcome back to the nasty man himself, Nascimento. All right, Edgar. This match was played in the middle of the day. It was a very hot day for the LA Galaxy. What do you usually say when things like this happen? What happens to the LA Galaxy?
Automatic loss, baby. For 2 reasons. 1, middle of the day.
Yep.
2, in Texas, and especially against Dallas. Now, we didn't have a midweek show because not for lack of trying, because I was reaching out to Jose Diaz. He covers FC Dallas, and he just had a really rough week this week. And he said, let's aim for next week." So we know we got one of those weird MLS scheduling things where they lump 2 games in the same time. So we got home and away, right? So FC Dallas away. Next match obviously is going to be here home at the Dig against FCD. Now, what I was kind of hoping we would have the midweek, because I just find it so fascinating and comical in a very like macabre way how bad LA Galaxy is on the road versus Dallas. I was talking to you about that before we came on,
Yeah.
right? The record LA Galaxy in 46 matches, um, and this is like across all competitions, right? In 46 matches against FC Dallas across all competitions and just regular. I mean, in on the road, Galaxy and FCD have played 46 times, and out of those 46 times, Galaxy only have 11 wins. There's 7 draws, and meanwhile, Dallas has won 28 matches. It's like, damn. In fact, Galaxy have now lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches in a row in Dallas. The last time Galaxy won a match was 10 years ago. And
Jeez.
Galaxy only have 2 wins in Dallas in, I'm looking at the math here, in 15 years. So over the last 15 years, Galaxy only won in Dallas twice. I mean, and the rest of them are all losses, except for like there was one draw in there in 2013, but everything else is just straight up loss. It's like, damn, they're really bad against Dallas on the road. So middle, like you said, middle of the day, um,
Really hot.
really hot. Like it's like early fall, and in that part of the country is still disgusting. And then against Dallas, automatic loss. I feel bad for the Portuguese Hammer because I know he lives in Texas and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make the drive. I think he knew like, yeah, we're gonna lose. But then of course Diego Fagundes has to be like, we're gonna make it a fight. No, no.
Nope, that did not happen. Well, let me give you guys some overall stats for this match versus FC Dallas. 64% possession for the LA Galaxy, 36 for FC Dallas. Total shots, the LA Galaxy with 11, FC Dallas with 9. Big chances, FC Dallas had four big chances. The LA Galaxy had 0 big chances. Accurate passes, 87% for the LA Galaxy, 75% for FC Dallas. And corners, FC Dallas with 7, the LA Galaxy with 5. This match, let's see if I can recall. In the first half is where they score that, where the LA Galaxy go up first, right? I believe so.
Yeah,
Let me double check.
Diego scores a goal. It and remember, he used to play with Austin, so the FC Dallas fans are very familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he scores a goal, and he's like, yeah, he's all excited, you know. But I, I don't know what to say about this team, man. Because on paper, you look at their stats and you're like,
They
I
shouldn't
mean,
be this bad.
I mean, it's not like possession, is indicative of how well you are finishing, right? Because
Yeah.
you could have all the possession in the world, but you still have to finish, and you have to make the most out of your opportunities. But that's almost like video game numbers. It was like 76% of possession. Like, damn. So you're telling me that these guys had the ball for most of the match and they couldn't figure out how to score. And they had all these shots and they just couldn't put them on frame, in like a manner that really can threaten the goal. But that's just who this team is. That's who they've been the whole year.
Really bad team.
Yeah, they like you said. I think it's not just us. Other pods have said it. They find different ways to lose every week. So it's like it's not like at least in that case they're not boring, right? Because you're like, oh,
Keep
we're
it
gonna do the same.
exciting.
They're gonna keep, they're gonna lose the same way they do, every game, right? No, they always find a different way to break your heart, right?
Yeah.
So you look at this menu and you're like, I want to get stabbed in the back today.
I mean, the Galaxy did go up early in this match, and I kind of had a little bit of hope at that moment.
Come on,
Because, listen, you mentioned this in previous pods that this was their last opportunity for the LA Galaxy to get a road win. Spoiler alert, that did not come to be. And with that first goal, early, Diego Fagundes scores it. His second goal in these last 2 matches, he scored against Toluca, and then he scores here in FC Dallas. Which, coming into this match, it could have been on that high of playing well against Toluca. But like we mentioned earlier, a midday game. It's hot. It's versus Dallas. For some reason, we always struggle out there. So I bought that. It was fool's gold, and I bought it. 1-0 early in the match. Should have told me that the LA Galaxy was not going to be able to hold on to that. Because in the 35th, the LA Galaxy get tied, and the way the LA Galaxy got scored on in that goal was too easy. It seemed amateur defending in that
man.
moment. The
Yeah,
guy
that
just
goal
turns
was
like
stupid,
the
man.
guy just turns like nothing. He has all the time and space to catch the rebound and still do like a little turn on 3 people that were surrounding him. That's basically the LA Galaxy in one play right there.
I mean, nobody was like paying attention to him. First of all, and
Nobody.
2, he cleared the damn ball, man.
Yeah.
I told you,
play.
right? Like, I like to watch the highlights again. Highlights. Usually, I like to watch, what happened in the match, so I could talk about it later on, more in depth, or give some nice insight into it. But I remember I went back and I started watching these, and I saw the first Dallas goal, and I just lost any more interest in watching the rest of the highlights, and I just like switched it off and I went to like watch the Portland Seattle highlights instead. Because at this point, I was just like, okay, I'm done, man. I'm so sick of this shit. It's like the whole year it's been like this, and um, I know, like we always joke, right? Like we're Clippers fans, and we've seen the Clippers be miserable for so long, but they
Be
haven't,
really
right?
bad.
Yeah, since 2012, they've been a playoff team pretty much, and
Mhm.
so those years are long past. But still, you watch this LA Galaxy team, and it's like, how could you get so bad so fast? And
It, it doesn't make
make
sense.
make I mean, it's not even interesting to watch how they lose at this point. Like I said, I I can go back and analyze it, but at that same time, I'm like, oh man, how many more times do I have to analyze how bad they are? We already know what they do wrong. It's just rinse repeat. It's just it's just a different taste every week. And this is another one.
Yeah.
It
Go ahead. Finish it.
No,
I got it.
I'm just expressing my frustration, and I'm sure a lot of people have expressed the same frustration throughout the season, which is so different from the vibe that we had exactly a year ago, right? Where we were excited and a sense of anticipation for what the postseason was going to be. And you look at us this year, and a lot of people from other pods are saying, "Well, was it worth it?" Kind of like Thanos, right? What did it cost?
Our
Everything.
sanity at this point is our sanity, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, man, it's like I look at that 2024 championship banner and I'm like, man, put it away. It's almost like like you left the birthday decorations up for too long, and it's time to put them away, man.
That's exactly what it is. Because even at the intro that we had in the beginning of the show, from that moment where Joe Tutino says you're 2026 or what you're 2024 six-time MLS Cup champion to what it is now, I can't really put it into words, but I know what it feels like, and it doesn't feel good. It feels like shit. But at this point, it's laughable. At this point, it's laughable. I really just want every player that's from here on out, rest the people that are important for next season. Um, give some of the kids their times to develop. You know,
Yeah,
these last,
Winder,
yeah,
Miller,
yep. Maybe we get
um,
to see some Lepley,
Lepley, yeah,
Nascimento, Alde, Cuevas, Rindo.
Morsenkowski.
I mean, yeah. No, I think I keep Mikovic with them. But yeah, I don't know, man. On top of that, FC Dallas scores a banger on the LA Galaxy, and it happened at the first half, at the end of the first half, and it's something that you mentioned in the last match against the Luca, where it seems like nobody steps up in the middle of the pitch, so freely they take shots, and FC Dallas Delgado scored that, a young 21-year-old with a screamer of a goal, and you can't even be mad at that. Can't really be mad at that.
Yeah, that's another thing that I mentioned, and I want you guys, anybody listening or anybody watching this right now, pay attention to that. The Galaxy defense and the midfield have that gap, right? And look at how many times opposing players will come into that area, that no man's land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where normally they'll be under pressure and they'll look to pass the ball away to a teammate either on the wings or maybe down the middle. They actually look around. They're like, "Oh, no pressure. Okay, let me bring out my abacus here. Let me bring out my calculator so I can determine the angle of the shot and the how much force I'm going to put behind it. They have so much time. It's almost like one of those Looney Tune cartoons where they can actually put up a schematic and figure out which way they want to shoot the ball. That's how much time they have, and then they take the shot. And most of the time they put it on frame, and sometimes they score some golazos. Um,
In this
it
case, it
shouldn't
was
be
a
like that.
golazo. In this case,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
it
golazo
should.
against the LA Galaxy.
It should be like that. And like I said, there's like lack of communication, or maybe just players that are out of position. And
Aside from the goal, did you find any bright spots against FC Dallas? that they could probably carry over to this weekend's match against FC Dallas. And by the way, is going to be Central American Heritage Night. So if anybody was wondering,
They
can he
took the
carry
lead.
something over?
They took the lead.
That's the only positive you see.
Yeah, they took the lead on the road. That's it.
I should have done a better job in playing close attention to Nascimento. He's coming back from injury. I think it's a promising young forward that we have and could work out for us in the future. I should have paid more close attention to him. But did you see anything from him that made you
Um,
say that? Oh, maybe
well, well
he's on
the,
his way.
nah, I don't. I mean, I think he had a decent match coming off injury, but at this point, you start to really pay attention to his body of work throughout the season, and then you start to think about the difficult decision that's coming up because you got
Yeah,
to remember he is on loan, so it's not like he's on a contract where the Galaxy could be like, okay, he did well, he did okay this season. He had a lot of injuries, but we can bring him back next season, ready to go. At this point, LA Galaxy has to make that decision about whether or not they want to invest time into him because um, this team struggles without a solid nine or somebody who could go up there and disrupt the defense. And whether they're a poacher or they're somebody who can create, from the outside the 18 and then free up his wingers. We saw how much that hampered both Peck and Pinto because if you have a solid target in the middle, that takes some of that takes some of the attention away from them, and then they're free to go and do what they normally do. But we didn't see that this season. So the question comes: are you going to invest in him as a project? How many more projects is this team going to take on? We already mentioned how they're in the middle of a rebuild, right?
yeah,
Uh, but do you really want to take that on as a project, or do you cut your losses, right? I mean, he's only on loan, right? Do you cut your losses and then invest in looking for a solid forward, somebody who could come in and make a big difference, and that'll help his teammates on the wings, and also be a target for a Ricky Puig or some other midfielder that could come in. I think that's more important. I don't know if I'd want to bring Nascimento back for another season because I don't know if he's worth it. Um,
yeah.
I
We weren't
mean,
able to see enough from him this season
I mean,
to
you
assess
look at
it.
who's on top, right? It's
Hmm.
Nascimento. He did
Barry,
okay.
Barry,
Barry, no, thank you.
and then
And of
Christian.
course, Christian Ramirez, who fell off the map after those 4 goals,
Hmm.
and that's it. He didn't have much competition up there, so of course he's gonna look like he looked better. So no, I think we should move on from him.
Ooh, well, hopefully it your tone changes because that could be a question we can circle back to, and maybe we'll have some special guests. Maybe we'll have Eddie on for that last episode of the season
Ooh,
and see what he
maybe
thinks.
Guti.
Maybe Guti,
Ooh,
see if they want to keep Nascimento or not. And we'll do a last episode to kind of cap off the season. Who do we bring back? Who do we let go? I
maybe
mean,
Chewy. Ooh.
maybe Chewy. Yeah. And then what you just mentioned goes back to Adam's question about what is the most important position, that we need to address this offseason. And that could be
Well,
one of
let's
them.
bring up his super chat too because he asked a good question.
Okay, cool. Well, let me just put a cap on this LA Galaxy versus FC Dallas match.
Terrible.
The LA Galaxy lost. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Oh, yes. By the way, like I mentioned on Twitter,
Yeah.
at the end of this game, LA Galaxy goes winless on the road for the first time in team history,
Oof.
punctuating just how bad they've been this season. And we could go to my chart in a little bit, but I just want to go. No, actually, you see the chart I put up. I've been
Yeah.
tracking this.
Okay,
Let
let
me
me
go
put
over
that
some
up.
statistics, yeah, and then we could go to Adam's super chat. So this is a little chart that I have. It's not as nice and nifty as some other charts you see in
Yeah.
Galaxy Podcast Land, but it's something I've been using to track the team. These are the worst seasons in LA Galaxy history, and I have 2021 in red because obviously, COVID season they didn't play the total number of matches, and as you can see, they only got up to 22 points, right? A lot of people point to the 2017 team as probably the worst team that Galaxy has had, but even those guys, um, They won 5 of their first 8 away matches in that season. Obviously, I mean, their last one came in June 21st, and they went winless on the road the rest of the season. But they won 5 of their first 8 games on the road, and they finished with 32 points, as you can see right there. Um, this team this season, they're not going to catch those guys, and they've only won roughly 15% of their matches. Like I said, on the road, 0 wins, 7 draws, 10 losses. First time in team history that a Galaxy team has not won a game on the road.
Mhm.
At this point, they're projected to win 5 matches, which they already got to. They're projected to maybe get 10 draws. So that maybe there's a draw in the books, between now and the end of the season. And 25 points at the most. And at this point, I want to say this is the worst Galaxy team ever, even below the standards of the 2020 team, even below the 2017 team, because the 2017 team, right? A lot of people say like, "Oh, that was a terrible team." Well, we knew that going in. We knew going in that they weren't gonna be like a contender. So yes, you look at that roster and you're like, yeah, these guys are gonna be bad, and they still put up better numbers than this team, right?
Let me.
They still went on the road and they won games on the road.
This is the thing
And
though. These guys win a championship, and you don't expect what has happened this season. And the big reason why it's happened is because we don't have the main piece, which is Ricky Pooch.
and like I said, you can't you have a Mark Delgado. Like I said, a lot of people discount like, well, it's Mark Delgado. Well, Mark Delgado is so important to the LAFC that 2 podcasts had me on asking me about him, and when I told them what he was going to bring to them, they got really excited, and now they're really happy to have him because he doesn't put up big numbers, but he does a lot of the intangibles, and it's like having another manager on the field. He's got that mindset.
Yeah.
So you missed that. Obviously Galaxy wasn't going to be able to keep him because the salary cap restrictions. But damn, that sucks. You lose Jovelich, you lose Delgado. Those are 2 big pieces, and you can't just replace that easily. And now we're seeing it.
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
From champions to being the worst LA Galaxy team in team history, setting records, baby. What do you mean? We
Yeah.
set all the records.
And somebody mentioned on Twitter, because I mentioned earlier, like I said, I tweeted out that first time in team history that this team doesn't win on the road. And somebody tweeted, it's almost exactly what happened in Toronto after they were so good. And that was another one of Danny's teams.
Yeah.
Like they were historically bad in Toronto after those winning teams. And you're like Greg the Builder, but what's he building? Like castles made of sand.
Well, since you mentioned Vanny, in these last 5 seasons, he has missed the playoffs 3 times. In 2021, he missed the playoffs. The team was in 8th place with a record of 13, 9, and 12. In 2022, got to the conference semis as a 4th place team with the record of 14, 8, and 12. In 2023, missed the playoffs, 13th place with the record of 8, 12, and 14. 2024, MLS Cup champions with the record of 19, 7, and 8. And of course, this year is probably the worst year he's had. But you know what this tells me? The next year we're gonna win it all, baby. So Greg Vanny has had a very bad coaching run with the LA Galaxy, and this is something we could probably answer at the season finale for this show. Is he worth keeping around, and what does he have to do next season in order for him to stay?
Obviously, the team thinks he is. There was like a drunken handshake at the end of the 2024 season that guaranteed him 2 more seasons, right? I think that's what we
Mhm.
heard. So we're gonna see more of him unless something drastic happens. But let us be clear. Obviously, he had a certain amount of leeway this season because the team is coming off a championship season, and they did make it to the semis. I'm sorry, of League's Cup, and they did okay against Toluca and the Campeones Cup. But next season, from game one, you know that there's going to be pressure on Banny. And I think that if this team doesn't perform well by the summer, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, other teams have let go of managers for lesser things.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the worst record. I mean, the worst season in team history. I keep bringing that up, but think about it. It's a big deal. This is what considered one of the the best franchises. I mean, it is by if you look at all the trophies and every accomplishment, this is the best franchise in MLS history. And a lot of people will be like, "Well, you guys just won a cup. Why are you guys being so hard?" Well, I mean, they're terrible. They're
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. He hasn't managed the team as well as you would expect. Um, so I just want some consistency. And I know MLS is weird because they want to have parity, and so there's a lot of movement. Everything's always in flux. But let's have some parity, like I said, I keep bringing up Seattle, Columbus, right? These are teams that are constantly competitive, even if they don't win cups. At least they're there. Even Portland, you could say, right?
Hmm.
Um, but no, it's since he's been here, actually for quite a while with this team, it's always been feast or famine, and not as much as it has been in the last couple of seasons. I mean, 3 seasons actually, because you said 2023 bad, 2024 cup, 2025 rock bottom. So,
We choose famine.
oh man. So Adam, let's address the super chat, right? Because we're getting to that point right now.
Okay, did you wanted to give some awards out in this match?
No. Oh man, I mean, I guess Fagundes gets
Man of the
you
match for
got
scoring.
Hartman or something, or yeah, man of the match, whatever. Nag standing. I don't feel like handing out awards at this point.
This
I
whole
think
season has
I,
been the
I
famous
know it's
off
a
award.
nag. I know it's a nag thing. That we give awards, and we like to have fun with them sometimes, but um,
This is not fun anymore.
it's not fun anymore,
I'm taking
man.
my ball and going home. Fuck that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, no awards for this time around. Hopefully, we have a positive result this upcoming weekend so we can get some awards out. Or maybe not. But anyway, let's get to Adam's question. Thank you, Adam, once again for the super chat. Let's hear some Ricky Pooj Hilly music. Adam asks, what is something that you're looking forward to the 2026 season?
Winning a match in the first three,
Winning a road game.
not going 16 games before you finally win one. Damn.
Hopefully staying healthy. That's another thing I'm looking forward to.
Oh my god. I was in the stands for that whole match against Herediano, and going into that, I predicted Galaxy was going to win. I said we're going to win. We're going to win big, right? I said 3-1. It turned out to be 4-1, right?
Yeah.
And I actually thought to myself, this is a good, solid victory, a good confidence booster for a team that really needs it that early in the season. And I think this is going to turn things around, and we're going to start to see better results. But no, 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 we had no idea how bad things were going to get at that point. But um, that was the lone victory at that stage of the season. I mean, at that stage of the year, because MLS season, obviously, who could have predicted that? Uh, that's just unheard of.
It's not
Um,
just us that are shocked. I think most of the MLS pundits on Apple TV, a lot of podcasters who, when they face the LA Galaxy through their shows, I'm pretty sure they're all surprised as well. How do you go from being the MLS Cup champion in 2024 to having a this horrendous season? It seems like a something like you say from Bizarro World, from having the most cups to now being the worst team in LA Galaxy history. It's kind of, but the question remains: would you do it again? And 100%, yes, I will.
you say
Yes, I
what?
will. I
Yes,
would.
you would.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yes, I would.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, that's the correct answer, right? Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what I look forward to 26 season. I guess I look forward to away matches. I love. I mean, this is a more personal note, but I love traveling with the team. I did it a couple years ago in Vancouver. I was gonna do it this season, but because of all the political stuff going on, I didn't feel too safe traveling.
Hmm.
But for next season, I look forward to going back to that. Maybe go back to Vancouver, maybe go to Minnesota, St. Louis. These are all places where like the fans have been really nice, and some of them are very welcoming. I look forward to to traveling out there. Maybe some East Coast, hopefully Atlanta, so we can hang out with the guys in Atlanta. Um, but I also look forward to a team that'll be more competitive. Oh, and but to me personally too, I really look forward to the Open Cup because Galaxy is not among the best, so they're not going to qualify automatically to League's Cup. Ooh, no, we get a real tournament in the U.S. Open Cup, and I hope they take it seriously because you look at their two Open Cup victories, 2001, 2005. And yeah, those are nice. They look nice up on the on the stadium. But let's add another one to it. I love the Open Cup, and I would love for LA Galaxy to have that because you know what else it does? It also gets you into the Champions Cup.
100%. And it's a 100-plus-year-old tournament. And for U.S. soccer, it's an important cup. And I'm with you. It should be taken serious. And other teams should take it serious too.
Oh, and congratulations to Nashville.
Yeah, congratulations to Nashville.
Yeah, it's Nashville beat Austin in Austin, and that was the first time. It was crazy. Not only was like the first trophy for their team's history, but it was the first time a professional sports team in Tennessee had ever won anything.
Beautiful. Oh, that's cool. See, that's cool. See, stuff
Yeah.
like that is cool. I like that. And I like that they beat Austin. I don't know why.
Yeah, hey man, nobody likes pre-court, right? So, screw that guy.
Yeah, so shout out to Brugman for winning another trophy in MLS. Shout out,
Right?
yeah, old
And Johnny
MLS
Perez, right?
and Johnny Perez. Yeah, shout out to those XGs because once a G, always a G. And Brugman is the one that got us to get that six. So congratulations, guys. Anyway, anything else before we go? Are we gonna try to have that midweek? You said maybe.
Yeah, our buddy Jose Tellez, he covers FC Dallas. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna definitely do something for the second leg of this away home and away with FC Dallas. So look forward to that. I'm gonna announce it as soon as I can, so that way we can have him on and you guys can ask as many questions as you can because he used to actually be in the FC Dallas system. I don't know, a lot of people don't know that he was like he could have been a player." So
Oh,
he
that's right.
he, he really knows his things. Oh yeah, and congratulations to Tyler Boyd. I think he had a season-ending injury though,
Yeah,
so I feel bad for him. Um, but yeah, if anybody who's listening, Tyler Boyd was also an XG who's playing for Nashville, and he also got to be on that Open Cup championship winning team. Um, Other than that, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's reached out over the last couple weeks. Said hi, added me on Twitter or followed me on Instagram. Thank you so much for your support. Um, I know a lot of times, we promise you guys we have these midweeks, and I was thinking about this earlier this week, right? We usually have some midweek shows. A lot of people love that segment because you get to learn a lot about the other teams. And let me tell you, we plan it, we work on it, but sometimes it's real life steps in, and the other team, the other podcasters just can't do it. We've had that happen like several times this season, where they're like in one case, it was a life or death thing. We mentioned our buddy Matt Pollard from Colorado. Him and his dog got trapped on a mountain and they had to get airlifted. And this was like the day that we were supposed to have the podcast. And he told me, yeah, my girlfriend just called for search and rescue to pick up me and my dog because we both got injured. I'm like, oh my God. And other times people get sick or they have just work responsibilities and these things happen, right? This, yeah, for many of us, this is not our jobby job, but we try our best here at NAG. And to me, it's a lot of fun doing these.
I have
I
fun
love the
producing
MLS.
them. I
Yeah,
have fun
right.
producing.
And you
Yeah,
get to learn a lot. I mean, we had some really fun ones this season. So hopefully we finish out strong with Jose from FC Dallas, and then the really cool fellas from the Lunacy
and lunacy.
podcast.
Yep,
So,
and
and
hopefully
that's
having
gonna.
a wooden spoon collective once again.
Yeah, no, seriously, we've been talking about it. Who would it be? It'd be us.
Kansas
It
City.
would be Kansas City, who's like right above us.
DC United
DC United, we probably have Dave Johnson back on, and
and
then
Atlanta.
Atlanta, maybe the Montreal guys too, just
Yeah.
to have them in there. So
Oh, yeah. Well, look out for those. Well, Edgar, where can the people find you?
yeah, when I'm not at the stadium, you guys can find me on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and Instagram as Edgar Nags, all one word.
You,
And if you do see me at the stadium, holler at me, and I might interview you for my Instagram.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. You can find me as Bryant Nags on Instagram and Twitter. And I want to give a big shout out to the person that gave me the ticket to go watch Toluca. Thank you so much. I was,
El Maguito.
Shout out to El Maguito. Hey, if you ever catch me in the stadium, I'll give you a brewski.
There you go.
Yeah, just whatever. Follow us. Do whatever you want. Do whatever.
Oh yeah, I was also gonna say thank you so much to the Inland Empire G's for their wonderful tailgate. I had some friends come over and join us for the tailgate. I think it was the last home match against FC Cincinnati. Was it? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the last home match was against Cincinnati, right?
I think so.
I can't remember right now. My brain is fried. It's Sunday evening. But they were very welcoming, and they had some delicious sandwiches, and they shared some of their drinks with us. So thank you guys so much. And it was also nice to run into an old friend I haven't seen since I was in college. So it was nice to see her. And if anybody wants to hang out and chit chat, or throw back some cold ones at the stadium, just let me know. And you guys will see my vest. I'm working on my Galaxy vest. I added some championship patches to the back. I'm going to add a couple more before the next home game. So we'll see.
There it is. Well, that does it from us here at News Across the Galaxy. From Edgar and myself, we're up out of here. And as always, keep on nagging and Wu-Tang for life, baby. All right, let's get out of here.
Baby.